That's another 49er first down. That's another 49er first down. That's another 49er first down.
Hey, Gary, how you doing?
Oh, pretty good. How you doing, Rich?
I'm doing well. Hi, everybody out there that's watching our podcast. We are the Niner Fogies. We're members of the Niner Empire Vancouver here in Vancouver, Washington, and we watch our games at Heathen, Brewing Farrell Public House in downtown Vancouver on Washington. And please join us for a game any Sunday that you're available. And if you're a 49er fan and you're a lonely 49er fan, don't worry, we got a big family waiting for you, a family of faithful. So, Gary, we just destroyed the Jaguars. Huh?
Yeah, we did.
I think during our last preview of the game, I think we both decided that was going to be the case. Gary, what do you see? I mean, it was such a dominant performance. There's, in some ways, you could talk about it for hours. In other ways, it's just like there's hardly anything to talk about because the Niners just dominated every bit of the game. But what do you really think got us going? What do you think was the big?
I think to start with, the trenches were working really well, both offense and defense. But we need to talk about offense first because we got the ball first.
Yeah, we did.
And we started deep in our own territory and just marched it right on down the field. One play after another. We did have a couple of penalties on the Jaguars and got down to the end in 4th and 2. And we went ahead and kicked the field goal instead of getting a touchdown, which some people don't like. But, you know, to me, it's real important to get the points off the drive. And Kyle agreed with that. That's why he wanted to go for it so bad. But he wanted to make sure with all that time invested and as good as the team was doing, that we got something out of it.
Right. And that was a 20-play, 13-minute drive.
Yeah, well,
that's
when we gave him the ball back, it was less than 2 minutes left in the quarter.
Exactly. When Robbie Gould kicked that field goal, there was 1:51 left on the clock. So it was after the 2-minute warning. So that was, or not 2-minute warning. I'm sorry. It was 1:51 of the first half.
Yes.
Blow the foghorn. Or the first quarter. So, I mean, it just basically ate up an entire quarter. And I think you're right. That set the tone for the entire rest of the game.
And the thing that the only thing I found kind of unusual about it was that we actually beat the Rams worse.
Well, it was this. Was it the
31-10 compared to 30-10?
Okay, there you go.
Hey, 1 point's 1 point.
It is, and you know, we played the Niners at home. Then we had to on a Monday night game. Then we had to get on a plane and fly to the East Coast with a 10 a.m. Eastern time start. yet we came out in somebody else's house and completely dominated every facet of the game. And that's a really impressive win given all of those odds. And granted, you know, the Jaguars they're not a very good team. And we know that. And here's the team stats, I think, Gary, that kind of summarize everything. So total yards, the Niners had 333 total yards and no turnovers. We held Jacksonville to 200 total yards. That's rushing and receiving yards. And they had 2 turnovers. So the defense got on them. Josh Norman's pick, and there was a fumble, right, caused by the defensive line. I don't remember who. The other thing was the time of possession. I mean, we started off the whole game that way, but we ended up with a little more than 38 minutes in time of possession, and Jacksonville only had it for 21 minutes. So 38 minutes versus 21 minutes, that's a big difference. And first downs, we had 25, they had 14. So when I look at those 3 stats, it really pops out as a dominant performance on both sides of the ball.
Well, it's not that we didn't have any fumbles. We just never lost any fumbles.
That's true. That's true. That's different. I like that. You know, what else? You got any players that kind of stand out for you, Gary?
Oh, I have my players of the game selected.
Yeah.
Do you have your players of the game?
I do have my players.
I'll bet they're different.
I'll bet they are. So let's find out. You go first.
No, you go first.
Okay, I'll go first. First off, Bosa. I mean, I don't think anybody could disagree with that pick. He's had 5 sacks in the last 4 games. They double teamed him every single play. He still got in there and disrupted their passing game. He had four passes defended in that. So where he dropped back, knocked him down, or where he put a hand up in the backfield, and he had a sack. And his pressure was phenomenal. And what it did was it opened up the linebackers and the rest of the line because he was so dominant. There was even times when they'd put 2 linemen on him and chip him with a running back because he was hurting him so bad. So I have Bosa as my defensive player, and on my offensive player, I have Ayuk. I think he really is kind of starting to come into his own. I think it started with the LA game, and it definitely rolled over into this game. He had 8 receptions for a little less than 80 yards and a touchdown. And those don't come close to Debo's stats, but there needs to be a second receiver and a really good second receiver. And he's coming on and he's starting to play the way we thought he would play. So those are my 2 picks on defense and on offense.
Yeah, I agree. Ayuk is playing like he did back in 2020.
Yeah.
He's got the moxie to make it happen.
Yeah.
And Bosa's always Bosa. And he said he's actually learning how to pass rush now. He's learning more things. So he's getting held every play.
Every play. He gets held every play. He gets held 97% of the time or something. I was reading Matt Miyoko and he was saying, yeah, by my estimate, it's 97% of the time he's held. You know, and if that guy's saying it, you know, it really means something. So, you know, Jimmy didn't have big numbers this weekend, but he really managed the game. And
See,
I
that's
think,
my play. That's my offensive player of the game, the general back there.
let's hear
I thought
about that.
Jimmy played an outstanding game. But
I-
what he did in third downs. And the one big on the first drive, that pass that looked like he overthrew it. If
Mhm.
you'll watch it close, you'll see that he had to throw it there because there were two defensive linemen right in the path where number 22 was waiting. He actually paused a little bit at that point because they didn't have their arms up in the air, but Jimmy knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So he threw it the only place he could. But anyway, he played the whole game that way. I mean, you can't pick anything apart that he did.
No.
But the game
No.
was actually won in the trenches. Once again, the O-line and the D-line just did their jobs.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Jimmy's QBR was 140 for this weekend.
Yeah.
That's the reflection. That's the important number right there that I think reflects how well he played, and how much of a field general he was out there. I think you just called him the field general, and he really was.
And my defensive player of the game,
Yeah.
Fred Warner.
Really?
He played a heck of a job. He's still not playing in his regular position, but he's still all over the field.
He's all over the field. That's the thing. I mean, and he did some, you know what? He did. And I don't remember who he was defending, but he dropped back into the secondary a few times and made a couple of nice plays back there. Either tackles for a short game or a defended pass.
Yeah, you'd think that he actually was a defensive back at one time.
Yeah, you'd think. Fortunately, he's bigger. So, yeah, I can't argue that choice. That's a good one. And I think our two cornerbacks, Mosley and Josh Norman, they both had really nice games. Really nice games. I mean, they held Trevor Lawrence to 158 yards passing. And their number one receiver was Jones, and he had 4 receptions for 52 yards. So I think the defensive backs did a really, really nice job this weekend of picking up their receivers.
Yeah, we're playing team football.
We are.
And
We are
it
playing
looks
team football.
it's so much fun watching them play that way.
Mm-hmm. It really is. That was a fun game to watch, of course, because from the kickoff, the Niners dominated. But I think they're learning. I think they're really starting to get an identity. And I think they struggled with that for a while this season, but now they're 5-5. And we'll talk about the upcoming game in our next broadcast. But boy, winning this game was really big. Really,
Yes.
really big. I mean, definitely the biggest game of the season for us, against a bad Jaguar team. It was a critical game. We needed to win this game, especially after Minnesota upset Green Bay, and we'll talk about that in the next broadcast, but next podcast. But yeah, I was just happy. So, I really don't have much more to say about this game. I mean, you look at the scoring summary, it's just Niners. And, we didn't give up the touchdown to the Jaguars until there was 3 minutes left on the clock. And at that point, the game was done, right? So just a really, really nice game.
Well, Trey got to play.
He did get to play. That's a good sign.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I agree with that totally.
That means they can pull Jimmy. He's not hurt. They can rest him a little extra. And they can give Trey some time to play with the first unit, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was nice. I forgot about that. I'm glad you brought that back up. So, you got anything more on?
I think that ought to do it.
I think that's
And
about
this game will go down in history, which allows them to have a future.
it. Say that one more time.
But this game will go down in history, which
Yeah,
allows
yeah.
them to have a future.
That's right. That's right. Without knowing your history, what you're saying there, Gary?
Without a history, there is no future.
That's right. So take us out with that one, Gary, and I'll catch up with you in a bit. And we'll talk about this upcoming Minnesota game.
Okay.